But they let these crackers take over the goddamn Capitol.
Block Report.
We have the guns, and we are now in the streets.
Who here believes that their rights are under attack?
There's going to be a civil war. It's going to be bad. It's not going to get any better.
I think it'll become the second civil war.
How about civil war? Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? That's why motherfuckers went along with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they getting paid too.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? But now this shit is getting a little out of hand. And they like, okay, like we can't back this shit no more. You know what I'm saying? Because as much as they want to feel like they getting paid, they got to know this shit is destroying our democracy.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But y'all
Mitch,
did it.
Mitch said it himself. What happens when every 4 years, nobody's accepting the election results?
Right.
This election were overturned by mere allegations from the losing side, our democracy would enter a death spiral. We'd never see the whole nation accept an election again. Every 4 years would be a scramble for power at any cost.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
this shit was never a problem before. Never. Even when niggas got cheated, because Gore got cheated.
Yeah, he did.
Rather than destroy our democracy, he just
stood up
like a real fucking man.
You know, he was the vice president at the time, so he's the one who had to certify the election that he lost.
He had to read the votes.
Like,
I must object because of the overwhelming evidence of official misconduct, deliberate fraud, and an attempt to suppress voter turnout. The chair must remind members that under Section 18 of Title III.
Mr. Vice President, there are gross violations of the Voting Rights Act from Florida. And I object, and it is not signed by a senator.
Mr. President, I am objecting to the idea that votes in Florida were not counted, and it's a sad day in America, Mr. President.
The whole number of the electors appointed to vote for President of the United States is 538, of which a majority is 270. George W. Bush of the state of Texas has received for President of the United States 271 votes. Al Gore of the state of Tennessee has received 266 votes. May God bless our new president and our new vice president, and may God bless the United States of America.
I said, nigga, we fucking voted. That's the first time I voted.
it was multiple objections to them stealing the election from the Democratic side. And I remember Al Gore being a Democrat, being the one who lost, right? And it was people up there fighting for him, basically. And he had to be like, no, listen, you know, that he won, let's just keep it moving. And I was like, damn, that's some real gravitas. That's some real nuts. You know what I mean? Yeah, man.
Because he could have fought that shit.
Yeah, he could have. And you had tons of Democratic lawmakers who was ready to back him. You know, so, but all right, so
he could have fought, yeah.
I got a lot of news from this shit, because this shit is crazy to the motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
So all right, so did you know this? Did you know that actually this was a coordinated effort, though? Do you know that in multiple states, the state houses was all pretty much raided? I mean, not raided, but sieged to the point where there was armed people outside of all of them. Like Michigan, Lansing, they had to evacuate because it was a bomb threat called in, right? In Arizona, it was a big ass fucking, Trump, fucking basically, supporters all outside of their capital. These motherfuckers brought a guillotine.
I seen somebody had brought a noose.
No, that was in Washington.
The little hanging station, yeah.
That was in Washington, nigga. In Arizona, they had a guillotine, right? In Kansas, they did the same thing to the Kansas house, but they actually stormed that house and was all doing the same thing they did in Washington, was all walking through it and shit like that, right?
Okay, here's my thing. Didn't Trump win Kansas?
I don't know. I think so, but
I'm pretty sure he won Kansas.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter because this was
just
actual
fuck the government, period.
Well, this was actual coup. This was actual. That's why I keep saying this was actual coup attempt. If anybody,
and that's why I don't understand why all of these people aren't being arrested and treated like fucking terrorists.
Yes, because that's what
their
exactly they are.
Their actions were terrorist acts.
Exactly.
They're fucking homegrown domestic terrorists. And
let me tell you
treated
this.
as such.
In Washington State, right? The governor's mansion was sieged there. These motherfuckers sieged the house, right? It was state police that's stationed there because he's the governor, right? Now, the protesters were armed who sieged his house. Because, the governor stay in the governor's mansion as long as the governor, right? That's your creed. That's your spot. Man. Anyway, they sieged the governor's mansion. State police was stationed there. How many you think went to jail?
Nobody.
Not a single person.
Nobody
They
went to jail.
sieged the governor's mansion armed with weapons, and nothing happened. This was a fucking coup attempt, and in my opinion, most of the police were involved. Period.
At some level, in some degree. It was a whack ass coup attempt. It might even just be the prelude.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Man, you do the best. What do you call them? Segues.
Segue.
Yeah, that was the best. Because so a little more information I found out. So at the time of when this shit was happening at the siege, right?
Right.
There was a senator from Maryland that was, in the fucking chambers and shit. So they had locked off the chamber and like threw furniture in front of it. So, threw some furniture in front of it to try to block them off. That's where you get that picture of them motherfuckers at the door with guns and shit, right?
Right.
I mean, the Capitol Police detectives with guns and shit sitting there. So anyway, the Maryland representative called Maryland's governor because Maryland is the state right next to Washington, D.C., right? So he calls the governor. Now the governor is Larry Hogan. If you remember who Larry Hogan is, Larry Hogan's the dude who he's a Republican, but he didn't like Trump. He's the dude who his wife is I think Korean or some type of Asian, right?
Right.
And she basically got in touch with the Korean government or somebody like that.
Yeah, to help them get the
mask
ventilator or mask or something. Yeah,
ventilators and masks and shit.
Yeah, he was trying to hate on that nigga for that shit. Yeah.
Yes, him, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, he's the governor, right? So he said, I got a call and asked me, do I have any troops I can send? Because they only take them a couple hours to get there. He said, yeah, I got troops. But there's a chain. You can't just send your troops into another state. He needed federal approval, right?
But we were repeatedly, General Gowan was repeatedly being told by the National Guard at the national level that we did not have authorization. I was actually on the phone with Leader Hoyer, who was pleading with us to send the Guard. He was yelling across the room to Schumer, and they were back and forth saying, we do have the authorization. And I'm saying, I'm telling you, we do not have the authorization. And so we had multiple times, the general was, we running up the flagpole, we're ready, don't have authorization, don't have authorization. And then
he said, and a little while later, he said maybe 15, 20 minutes past, he said, I get a call from the Secretary of the Army.
And then I get a call an hour and a half later out of the blue, not from the Secretary of Defense, not through what would be normal channels. I got a number I don't recognize on my phone. I, pick it up anyway. Larry Hogan. And it's like, this Ryan McCarthy, Secretary of the Army, Governor, can you come as soon as possible? It was like, yeah, we've been waiting. We're ready.
To send.
Right.
Now, the story behind that seems where that comes from was actually Pence. They said that somebody got to Pence and was talking to him and was like, yo, this is not cool, bro. Like, look what's going on. Yeah. Now, you also know that Trump turned against him because so they keep I can't remember where this came from, but it was a story I heard that said on somewhere on right wing shit, basically Pence is like number one. They want to get to Pence. So when the shit first happened, they grabbed Pence and took him away quick because they're there for Pence. that's one of the things they talk about. Like Trump keeps saying,
Right.
Pence betrayed me. Pence betrayed me. So
Yeah.
Pence apparently gave the Secretary of the Army, the authority. Secretary of Army called Maryland the closest state to get the troops there quickly. You see what I'm saying?
What's crazy is
Block report.
Do you think it's possible that Hugo Chavez infiltrated the Dominion systems, changed the votes, orchestrated by Joe Biden?
I think anything's possible.
Do you think it's possible that a president who never pulled above 50% lost the election and is sore about it?
Absolutely not.
That's not possible.
Well, he's not going to be removed. He's not going to be removed. He's not going to be removed.
Do you feel confident in that?
My 357 Magnum is comfortable with that. End of story.
At one point, they took the American flag down and raised the Trump flag.
Raised the Trump flag. That's correct.